We interrupt the NBA playoffs for the attitude shift. Hi, this is Donna M. Butler. Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Yes, the playoffs are on, but guess what? We're on too. And if you have to make a choice tonight, I suggest you shift your attitude tonight and put that to the side for a while. There's still 5 more games to go. Put that on the side and pull along with Siobhan Shaw and I as we take you on an attitude shifting ride. We promise no animals will be hurt. We won't run anyone over. We're just going to pull our virtual red Corvette out and try to kick rocks on some attitudes. Can't do it without my wing woman, the lady in the box next to me, I think, Siobhan Shaw. Hey, darling, your hair looks great, by the way.
Thank you very much. I actually curled it today. I told John, I said I'm going off to curl my hair. And he was like, what? You know, guys just don't understand the concept of actually getting ready to be on a show and camera ready, and it's intimidating. And you have to put your makeup on, and as I was just on the show, I was just like, my lipstick is all screwed up because I can see myself in the camera, in the webcam. So,
yeah,
hey, how's it going? Are you awake, or are you feeling anything?
You know what? I am awake, very much so. I am feeling, which is a lot different from where I've been past couple of weeks. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get into the show. But I'm awake. I'm feeling things. I am happy to be here as always because I believe what we're doing is amazing. I believe what we're doing not only for our watchers, our listeners, those that follow us on our Facebook page, The Attitude Shift, we're doing a service. And we're doing it with a smile. And we have been doing this service for 5 years. And not only a service for those that watch us, but a service for ourselves. Because everything that we talk about, we use. So no waste of tools here.
No waste. And we're not over-medicated. We're actually probably not even, I know I'm not medicated. I'm not one to take pills for anything except maybe Advil. And so we were talking about being medicated as an attitude. It's actually an attitude because society has accepted prescription medication as okie dokie. Like they're just like, oh yeah, take a pill. Oh, you're feeling unhappy, honey? Okay, take a pill.
Take a pill.
Now, there's a difference between feeling unhappy and unsatisfied with your life and feeling major depression.
Right.
So clinical depression, this is not what we're talking about tonight. So you don't need to email us if you're depressed or if you have mental illness and you need prescription medication for that and you've been prescribed that by your doctor. We're talking about soccer moms and maybe members of your church, the lady down at the local shopping mall at the that you see every day, and she's just kind of like loopy-loop, and she's just kind of miserable, and life isn't going well for her. Those are the people that we're talking about that are being medicated when they're just when
they can't cope, maybe with some of the simple things. And I want to have that disclaimer. I want to reiterate that we are in no way making light of mental illness or someone that is been clinically diagnosed. We're not making fun. And if you think we are, flip the channel. Flip the channel, because we don't have time for that. This is about attitude. And if you are gonna blast us for this, it'd probably be best if you don't watch us, because I'm gonna blast back. So without any further ado, you want to talk about how we got to this point?
Well, I want you to rev your engine first. Do you have anything other than being medicated that you want to rev your engine about tonight?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to rev real quick on the situation with the Nigerian girls. We talked about this a couple of times during the week, and I really want to rev my engine probably against the media, probably against a lot of people that knew this was going on. This was something that was like almost pushed to the side because of the NBA stuff that was going on, a lot of this was pushed to the side. And I want to say the numbers, 234, I think. Don't quote me on that. Nigerian girls were taken from school. And they were kidnapped and apparently sold to be brides or slaves or whatever, they're being sold and to do. And you know what? What are we doing about it? And that's what I'm revving my engines up. Had it not been for someone on social media put it up, I'm going to be one of those people that was, kind of, not really knowing what was going on until I saw it. And now I'm watching this campaign that has developed over social media, Bring Our Girls Home. Michelle Obama today holding up a sign with the hashtag, Bring Our Girls Home. This is now turned into a global thing. Something last week we were just talking about, with the NBA and all of that. And this kind of went over us. It actually did kind of go over, the top of us. And I'm revving my engines because we had so many people involved. We were listening to what the president had to say about the NBA, the owner of the Clippers. We had all these people weighing in, but no one was weighing in on these girls. And it wasn't until, like I said, social media, Mary J. Blige, Michelle Obama, like I said, her post was today, but a lot of other stars had been trying to get attention towards it, and it was like we were kind of blinded to it. We were all kind of blinded to it, and the media really didn't push it so hard until the people spoke.
Well, and the thing is that it's kidnapping of young girls is commonplace around the world. White slavery is a big thing. Slavery, it doesn't matter white or black or whatever. They're taking young women to be child brides, to
right.
Rich old dirty men, basically, that just have no scruples. So the thing is this happens all the time. Nobody talks about it.
Right. Right.
But this is 250 girls thereabouts that have been taken from their homes from one town in Nigeria or a few towns in Nigeria. I don't have all the stats with me, and that is shocking to people.
That is, and what
I think that's what's got the attention of people.
Right. Exactly.
Women go missing all the time, and that they're not necessarily being killed and buried and chopped up into little pieces and put into blue plastic bins and thrown into the ocean or something. That they're being sold into slavery.
Exactly. And like I said, it's kind of been something that's not been really talked about. We're still dealing with, they're still talking about the missing plane. That's still there, and there's so many other things that are there. I think, like you said, we become so numb to women being, coming up missing. But I think this has shocked everyone because it's so many. And it's such an innocent thing. These girls were at school, and this is becoming, this big thing. And I want to see how we're going to step in. I want to see what we're going to do as Americans. I want to hear our president say something. I want to hear him say something. I want to hear that we're going to give the support to helping these girls as we've given to all these other things that, we're involved in. Ukraine, finding a lost airplane in Malaysia. I just want to see us do something. I don't know what all we can do. I'm not a president. I'm not into that kind of thing, but I know there's got to be something we can do.
Well, I've heard that the FBI is involved now, so that's cool. I think that that's great, and they need to find this group, but there's a deeper problem. Hopefully, they find the women, and these young girls are able to go on and educate themselves and change their area.
Yes,
change the world in their area very easily, because they will be educated. And really, when it comes down to it, that's the bigger picture here, is these terrorists took these girls because they don't believe that women should be educated.
Right. That just pisses me
We
off.
seem to keep running into this wall where women are second-class citizens. They're equal to cattle or something like that. I have to come up with an example like that. But the thing is if we're not allowed to be educated, and it's 2014,
Right.
who is raising these guys to think that way? You know, like,
Right. No, you're right.
how is the world still allowing this to happen? It's like racism. How are a bunch of fans at a Boston hockey game against Montreal Canadiens booing the black guy on the ice? You know, I mean, Boston strong. If strong, no, you are not Boston, and I'm going to tell you that because you are booing an African Canadian man, African American man. I don't know his nationality, but he plays for the Montreal Canadiens. His name is Subban. His parents are in the stands, and you are booing him because of the color of his skin. You are not Boston strong if you cannot stop your people from being racist. That just killed me this week. That just killed me that week. Oh.
And then you hide behind the freedom of speech, you know, and that's just grinds it even harder. That you hide. You're cowards. You're hiding behind, you know, we have the right to feel this way. This is the way I was brought up. This is this. You know, stop hiding. If we don't face this head on, if we don't start facing these things head on, you know, we are supposedly the strongest, you know, country, you know, here we are, we're the United States of America, and if you stop and look, we're still so far behind in so many things.
Right. So, and, you know, this rant, it feels really good because I'm feeling something and it's getting me really upset, and I'm getting passionate about it.
Right.
And if I was medicated, I wouldn't be. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is if you are using medication to shift your attitude, if you're using medication to walk around like a zombie woman, to cope with your children or your husbands or just your hectic lives, that's what we want to talk about tonight.
That's right.
We want to see a shift in attitude. Now, it's our opinion, and as we've said earlier, we are not professionals. We're not medical professionals, and if you're prescribed medications for a condition, you know, follow your doctor's orders.
Yeah, don't go throwing your...
But what we want to talk about is kind of the overuse of antidepressants, because I think that you are your own best antidepressant, especially as you learn to attitude shift. And
absolutely.
I love to feel that passion I just felt about the Montreal Canadiens player Subban being booed, or about these Nigerian women being kidnapped, and these old farts get away with it because they have nothing but money, and there's some kind of this evil black underworld, right? Like, of like horrible people that just we just can't seem to eradicate in this world. So okay, Donna, stop me now.
No,
stop me.
yeah, and going, you know, really, I like how you say you want to feel, because that is, you know, that's how we cope. To me, feelings are coping mechanisms. It is. If we feel angry, you know what? We've got to be able to have an outlet for that. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, we don't want you, if you're on medication or anything, we don't want you to just go take your pills out the toilet, you know, and then I don't want to switch on the television and find you on top of the post office tomorrow. You know, I watched the Attitude Shift. They said I should do that. No. Like you said, if you know, if your doctor has prescribed something for you for whatever your reasons, please check with your doctor. Don't try to, you know, this is merely our opinions and our thoughts and our experiences that we use. So, and we use them with our attitude shifting tools. So, with speaking with that, went for an annual checkup, a wellness checkup, and this is how we got this ball going for this show. And you know that I went and had blood work, went and had my yearly, all the, you know, women's stuff. And this is a new doctor. And so with every new patient, she wants to get some background information before she sends off to my previous doctor. And then she has in her folder a questionnaire. And it's about 30 or so questions, and she wants me to fill it out. And so I do, and I answered everything truthfully. And she took the paper and she lined it up against, I guess, a scale, and the scale ended up saying that I was moderately depressed. I fell in the moderate, slightly leaning a little bit more towards possibly severe. And for me, I didn't, people say, well, maybe you didn't know. I know I am not depressed. I know that. I know the frustration. I know the difference between frustration and depression. I know the difference between anxiety, which is what I feel. And we work on several projects and we have some irons in the fire. And we've been doing things for, repetitious. We've been doing things to stay in the know. We pitch, we share information, and we're, as we work to try to get our show to the world. So there's some frustration there. We've been doing this for 5 years, I'll be honest. You want to push faster and you want to do things faster and you want to see this done. And so I am anxious and I'm frustrated, but in no way was I depressed. So the doctor decided that she wanted me to try some antidepressants to see if it would make me feel better. Something to take the edge off. So me wanting to see exactly what's going on, I'm nosy, I want to know. And she wrote me a prescription. And I came home with the prescription and I got it filled at my local pharmacy and I took a pill that evening, Nothing, first day, nothing remarkable the second day. But by the third day, I was unmotivated.
Oh, really?
I just sat. When my son, who gets on the bus at 7:30, 7:35, he got on the bus, we waved, we blow kisses, and then I sat down on the couch, where I found myself 2 hours later, sitting, still with my little night jacket on and hair crazy, and I just was still sitting in the same spot. It was like a trance-like. And I looked at the clock and I was like, well, where did the time go? And Siobhan, I could not physically really get into anything. I have a routine. I turn music on and I clean the house. Mm-hmm. When the kids leave, there are certain things I do. I walk for at least an hour. I meditate 30 minutes. None of that. The breakfast dishes were still on the counter, and for 2 hours I just sat in a dreamlike state.
Do you think doctors and the morning talk shows have something going?
Yes.
just popped into my head, those
yes.
conspiracy theories that I have.
Yeah, I was stunned though that the time had went by and I could not really account for it. Yeah. And so I called the doctor. And I said, whatever you gave me is not, doing anything. This is not making me feel right. So I'm thinking she's going to pretty much say, well, you know what? You said you weren't depressed. That was it. No, that's not what she said. She says, I'm going to call you in another medicine with a different dosage. Okay. And so I was like, okay, let's just see. Let's move on because, again, I wanted to see what exactly is going on. So an hour later, I go over there to my pharmacy, and she has called something in. She called in the exact same medicine with a higher dosage.
Are you kidding me? Now, okay, so now you're expecting a pill that makes you feel happy and alive and vibrant and vital and ready to take on the world. And
well, I'm just expecting something. Again, there's no depression here. I'm just expecting, I don't know, something that is going to kind of like not have me all this frustration and all this stuff going on. But instead, I got a higher dosage of what already had me in the zombie-like state.
And then what happened? Did it get worse? Did it get better?
I'm going to be really honest because that's what we do. It knocked me out the first night. The second night, any desire, physical intimacy, any desire was completely gone.
No nookie, nothing like that?
No. Second night, I was totally just like a vegetable lying next to my husband.
Would that be a zucchini?
Yeah,
At least.
a beet.
I don't know. I can't think of it. Never mind.
A beet, okay? But I lost all my fun.
You what?
I lost all my fun.
Yeah.
You know, in the morning, I was dragging. You know, I have a routine with my kids in the morning. I'm alive. I'm anxious, yeah, because I'm trying to get everybody on the bus in time. I'm doing all that. I have things I have to do. But that didn't even matter, Siobhan. It didn't matter. The things that mattered, by almost 2 weeks in, nothing mattered.
Well, you actually said to me that something about burnt toast. You told me a story about burnt toast during this time?
Yeah, I could have set the house on fire. I could have burned the whole...
Were you oblivious to things that were going on around you?
Totally.
Because I've seen women I know, where they'll be reading a newspaper and all hell is breaking loose with their kids around them, and they're just reading the newspaper.
Toast is burning.
The house could be burning down. It's that kind of behavior I see from these women, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you should be really, really aware.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a friend of ours on the call. She finally got in. I don't know how she did. Cynthia, can you hear us? Cynthia, can you hear us?
I can hear you, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Cynthia.
We can't see you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can certainly hear you.
Okay.
Oh, there she is. Let's see if I can bring her up.
Okay.
Hello?
We can hear you, darling.
There she is.
Okay, great. I've missed the last few minutes, so.
Well, we're just talking a little bit about the reaction or the non-reaction that I had to the medication I was prescribed for, and I'm doing the air quotes, the depression that I was diagnosed as having, that I felt strongly that I didn't have.
Right.
So it's not only women that are being prescribed antidepressants. We're finding that children are being prescribed antidepressants as well. Cynthia, do you have any comments on that?
And
I think she's having some problems. That's too bad.
I don't know if I'm still connected.
You are.
But yeah, my situation is that my son's been prescribed antidepressants. I don't know if he's totally depressed. Yes, he is having some problems. But what I guess, I don't know if it galls me or it startled me that I go to the doctor without him, and the doctor says, oh, well, let's up his medication and let's give him this other drug too, because that'll help get him out the door in the morning. And it just felt like, no, I don't want to give my son these really strong drugs to get him out the door in the morning.
Right.
Getting kids out the door is part of life, isn't it? I mean, I remember I didn't want to get out of bed. And my mother had to, like, pull me out of bed, and I was just miserable. I mean, I must have been just a misery to live with, especially when I was a teenager, because we just want to sleep, right? Whether we party all night or not, we just want to sleep as teenagers, and we're not really motivated to do anything as teenagers. We're going through this growth spurt. We're going through this phase where we're having to take on responsibility, and ooh, that's scary. There's all kinds of things that are happening. So why?
Well, I don't like the fact, like she was saying,
right.
that to get
it's not just.
Were you there?
Okay, I lost connection. But I'm finding it's not just the teenager sleeping thing. I think it's pressure too. I think a lot of these kids are feeling a lot of pressure at school. I think they're feeling a lot of pressure to perform. They're feeling a lot of pressure to say at 15 years old what they want to be in their career and how they're going to go out and get it. And that was really a lot of pressure and anxiety for him, because he's like, I'm 15. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I got a lot of things I'd like to be. And I was like, great. Pick something, research it, do it in the third person like somebody would do it. But the pressure is for them to do all these things and to make it their plan, make it their life plan now, so that they can pick the rest of their courses for the rest of high school and they can start looking at universities. They're only in 10th grade.
Well, that's because
he's not even 16. Even get a driver's license.
That's because we've allowed
this life plan.
Right. Well, I had to move around. So
because we've allowed this system to come. The government needs taxpayers. You can't hear me.
Well, I want to go back to it real quick while we have a chance. Something she said is the pressure that we're putting on these kids to know what they want to do. I remember, and I'm serious, I remember being 14, 15 years old, and that was the furthest thing, from my mind at that time. And now, just like she said, they're pressuring kids at this age. What college do you want to go to? You've got to have your ACT scores. You have to have this. You have to have that. And something's wrong with you if you're not interacting with the right people. Something's wrong with you. Not one of the popular kids. Something's wrong with you if you don't hang out, with 20 or so kids. Something's wrong if you don't have a Facebook page. Something's wrong if you don't wear the right clothes. We pile all these things on these kids, and it's not a wonder that they don't feel isolated. It's not a wonder that they don't feel some type of depression, because around them everyone says, if you don't look like me, you don't talk like me, you don't have the clothes like me, something's wrong with you.
And something's wrong with you, so here, have a pill.
That's right.
Instead of...
Have a pill and numb yourself into not feeling bad.
And that's the key. They want, that numbing feeling. And it's so funny that you say it, I'm saying it, that numbing feeling where you don't feel anything. And they would rather have you sit in a vegetated state than be different. Because at least you're quiet over there, and that's how I felt. I was feeling like, why don't I want to get involved with anything? Why am I just sitting here? I'm usually up and out. Why? But when I started looking around me at other people that I knew were taking meds, I was mirroring them. I was doing exactly what I would go like, well, how come her kids are all over the place and she's not even moving? How come that baby just pulled off her diaper and smushed the poo-poo in the floor? And I was just like, oh, well, I'll get it up. And this is real. This is a true experience that I'm sitting here saying right now. And I would wonder, what the hell is the matter with them? Well, I was that person for almost 2 weeks.
Have you stopped taking these drugs?
Yes.
Do you feel more like yourself?
The tiredness is wearing off. Like I said, I guess it gets in your system, whatever, because I'm, still a little tired. But as far as the, the desire to certainly get off of the couch and certainly do my, the chores and things that I do, yeah, I'm good with that again.
It's my opinion that when we feel, we learn and begin to heal, right? If we can't feel anything, we really are zombies. We really are the undead walking around, functioning for society, doing the things that need to be done, driving the kids to school. And no wonder you see women driving like madmen. They're probably all, if I stop them and ask them and let me see which antidepressant they're on, they'd show me which antidepressant they are on, because they're not paying attention, so their driving is erratic. They're because they for some reason the doctors think that they need to just well, let's shut this woman up and give her something. And then you have all these people wandering around that have no enthusiasm, they have no desire to do anything. They sit in their, Barca loungers and watch TV all day, or they're just kind of out of it. They just function. So they're not really doing anything. They're not productive to our society.
And I think that that's what we've got to learn. We've got to learn how to say and ask questions. First and foremost, we've got to learn how to ask questions in the doctor's office. We've got to learn. Like I said, I didn't read anything until I got the prescription. I got it home. I read it, and I was like, this is wrong. This is wrong. It said for moderate to severe depression, and I was like, how many times do I have to tell her I'm not depressed? But then again, like I said, I wanted to go through with this because I wanted to know. I wanted to see and be able to relate to women that might do this and never being diagnosed any other way other than a piece of paper with 30 questions on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then to put that in my hand and then to up the dosage, within 2 days, up the dosage to 75 milligrams. And then was even told that if that wasn't enough, to still take the prescription that I had been given initially. So 35 milligrams plus the 75.
I think that, we've learned from personal experience that when we're feeling down and depressed and kind of life is overwhelming, that if we can just utilize some of the tools and the support networks that we have at our fingertips, and we've talked about them in our book, Journey of the Soul Car, if we can just use some of those tools and we are aware enough to understand that we're feeling at a low point in our life, that we can manage it ourselves. This is slight depression. This isn't, serious depression. We're not talking clinical depression. That's a whole other ball game. But this is, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed today because I have so much on my plate this week or this month or this year. Sometimes you have a lot going on. Maybe you've got debt and you've got romance issues and you've got, your car is giving you trouble and your kids are having problems with school and your job isn't where you really want to be in life and things just aren't happening quickly enough for you, or we all get to that point in our life that happens.
Right.
And if you guys are listening and you want to get our book, we will send it to you for free. We're quite happy to do that. So all you have to do is go to our Facebook page, The Attitude Shift, and inbox us and say, please send me your free book.
And we'll do it.
We'll ask for your email, and then we'll just send it to you. So ebook. So do that because we've learned to shift our attitude. And here's even Donna, who has been given a prescription for an antidepressant. She's been given a prescription, and 2 weeks later, it's down the toilet because she's aware enough to realize that it changed her so dramatically from who she is.
And that's what I was going to ask Cynthia. How much did it affect your son, Cynthia? Did it put him in that state, or did you see any, as they want you to see, improvement? What's his state like?
He hasn't been to school in the last 3 weeks, and he sits on the couch.
And see, that's when I feel strong that, you know, we have become a society. It's so acceptable. It's like I heard, and I can go back to a story. Over last summer when we had a lot of kids in and out of the house, you know, I have kids come over. I'm Nana to a lot of people. I'm mom to a lot of people. I had 2 kids over, and they're ages 9 and 11 at the time. They were comparing their meds. They were comparing their meds. They were comparing their ADD medicine. They were comparing antidepressants, and they were comparing what they were taking. And that was very difficult for me because, once again, I'm looking at young children. They're pretty much, I mean, they're talking like parents, like how we're having this conversation. They were talking about their meds that way. And I was completely thrown off by that because, again, we're using the medicine cabinet as a coping mechanism. You know, we're using that, and there's so many things out there.
Right.
So many different things. You know, the first thing she said to me is, I would prescribe Prozac to you, but I don't like the side effects. And I'm thinking, you know, every person that I've heard and Siobhan, you have something that we were, an article maybe that we might be able to get something out of, that a lot of the killings that were going on with some of the teenagers were, they found that they were taking Prozac. Now, I'm not saying that that had anything whatsoever, but there was a common ground, as the article says. There was the common denominator was Prozac, and they named another one that were heavy dosage, you know, that we're giving to kids.
Mm-hmm.
To kids.
I'm going to put that up on our Facebook page, The Attitude Shift. So check that out. There'll be a link to it. Because it is time to quickly move on to attitudes in the news. I know we've covered the Nigerian girls being kidnapped, and we've covered Subban being booed at the Boston hockey game. I don't know if you guys have been following the Shape magazine, and they didn't publish the story or the photo of a woman who lost like 160 pounds because she wanted to use a bikini photo, and there's just skin hanging around her waist because she lost so much weight. That when you have such an incredible amount of weight to lose, you have a lot of extra skin.
Right.
Right? And then Shape is kind of backing off and blaming the freelance writer, and that's I think that's like an attitude of blaming somebody else for your editorial decisions.
Well, once again, this goes back to what's acceptable by, you know, what society accepts. This woman lost weight, and I think more power to her. She lost weight, and if you know, and I think that that's something that you're showing. A lot of people think when you lose weight, a considerable amount of weight, that there's, you know, there's going to be loose skin. You're going to have to get some tightening up. A lot of times people have to have surgery for all that weight loss. And I think that was a really hard look, a reality check as to what happens when you lose a lot of weight. And again, here we go with let's airbrush her, you know, or let's don't put it in because it might gross people out that look, you know, that see the story. They might get grossed out seeing all the, you know, skin. We're masking stuff again. You know, it's not beautiful to us. So if it's not beautiful to us, then we're not going to put it in our magazine.
And the thing is I did that magazine spread for First, and I can tell you the freelance writer had no choice what photos were going to go in, and I had no choice. It was the editorial staff. There was a specific woman who called me. She was the photo editor, and then she was when she took the pictures from the photographer, they went to the editorial board there. Like there was a board at the magazine. These magazines probably are all set up the same. So when I saw that they were blaming the freelance writer, I was a little put out. Like I was like, I didn't believe them. Let's put it that way, because I've been through this process. It was, you know, the editor's choice to put these photos in or not. It wasn't the freelance writer. You're going to let your freelance writers decide what's going to go in your magazine? Really?
Once again, it's what we see. It's what we're accustomed to. And until we start shifting, until we start making public shifts, whether it be medication, whether it be what we look at in the news, whether it be, stepping up to the plate and saying, let our girls go, if we don't start stepping up, Big Brother is going to just take over everything, and they're going to dictate what we see, what we hear, what we put in our bodies.
Well, I have to dictate that it is time to put the virtual red Corvette in park for the night.
Can I ask Cynthia one more question before we go? Cynthia, real quick, I know it's going to take a lot more time. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What is your son going to do?
Good question. We're working on a plan to get him back to school, and went to see a counselor today. Good. And the other things I'm working on is changing the family's activity level and what we're eating, because Good. I really have been doing a lot of research on those things, that when you have the really good, like no sugar, things like that in the diet, and good activity, you can get off these meds. You can get off of most meds, apparently, with no sugar and really good foods.
Will you keep us posted, darling?
So that's the goal right now. Small steps at a time, but that's the goal, to try and make a difference.
Good.
Get back to being natural.
Keep us updated. We would like to know how he's doing on his journey.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. All right, Siobhan, back to you, darling.
Well, I want everybody to make sure they join our Facebook page, The Attitude Shift, or here on Google+, The Attitude Shift, and tune in every week as we bring up a new attitude to examine, and it's usually based on something that has happened in our lives. So, Donna, issue your parking ticket for the night and say goodnight. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining us tonight.
No, love you, Cynthia.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Well, we thank you. I'm going to issue citations to all of us that won't, you know what, we're not aware. I'm going to issue a citation for everyone that tonight won't go stand in the mirror, face themselves, and ask themselves where they are at in their life. Are they happy? Are they sad? Address those issues. And whatever you do, don't let anyone dictate to you how you should feel. No one knows you but you. So my tickets tonight are for all of us, until we can stand in that mirror and look at ourselves and face whatever we have going on. And you know what? Wean ourselves off of some of this crap. Wean ourselves off some of this crap. Feel the pain, feel the joy, feel the laughter, feel the hurt, feel the sadness. But whatever you do, feel something, because life is too short to go around feeling like Night of the Living. So with that being said, that vet's in park. And I don't know. We'll see what's up next week. Thank you, Cynthia. Siobhan, always a shifting moment to share with you. It's been great. And that's it. I have no more. Shall I do that little peace out?